is Gina Bericchia, and I am the Senior Media Relations Specialist at Nationwide Children's Hospital. So I think media relations is a lot about relationships. It's about having good, solid relationships with reporters and then also within your institution. I think media relations is really about saying what's of the best interest to our organization and also what's of interest to the public and finding out where those two places meet. So it's really about working with broadcast, online, and print reporters to help tell those stories. What's of interest to their readers and viewers, and then also what is your organization trying to get out there? I think when you're working with broadcast, print, and online reporters, the best thing that you can do as a PR person is say, what are the various assets that these different journalists are going to need depending on the medium? So if you're working with an online or broadcast reporter, they're going to need visuals, right? If you're working with a print reporter, they're going to need depth. They probably can only do something very brief in print, but if you can give them good spokespeople, good facts, a print article could be a really nice choice. If you can give them videos, we are doing a lot of graphics now. If you can do photos, those are great things. Infographics, those are great things to give to online media and broadcast media. I think that you can expect that not every reporter is going to work the same. So it's best to know those nuances. Media organizations are very different depending on where you're at. So here in Columbus, Ohio, sometimes I have to explain to leadership in our organization that we have a very competitive media market, but it's not nearly as competitive as if we were in New York, and it's more competitive than if you're in, say, Canton, Ohio. So I think it's really understanding your media market and who you're pitching. I think it's also understanding that media is constantly changing. So it used to be, I've worked for two people that have been in media relations for more than 30 years, and they had very solid contacts at different outlets. Well, now reporters are moving around so much, and reporters are going from print to broadcast, they're moving a lot, that you can't necessarily always rely on having one solid contact. So what's best to know, I think, is what does that outlet care about? What are their typical styles of the whole outlet? Whether that's a magazine, an online news source, a newspaper, kind of get to know that overall organization. That way, as different reporters come through, you find it easy to work with them. And then more specifically, get to know those journalists' specific styles. How do they like to be pitched? What's their deadline? So I think actually one challenge of just the profession is measurement. So I think it's constantly improving that value. So for us, it's really hard because I think we're doing an amazing job raising awareness, but do impressions really tell that story? Does ad value really tell that story? So I think the trend in media relations is really looking to how can we measure behavior change? So how can I, at Nationwide Children's Hospital, for example, say that all this work that we're doing to garner media coverage is resulting in what we say heads in beds, but really kids getting to know about what programs and services might be helpful to them and to their families. So I really think that that's one challenge, is just sort of that always proving your value as a PR practitioner. It's a lot different than if you have one specific link. No offense to our marketing counterparts, but it's different when they have a very trackable, you call this number, and they can track things much more easily than we can in media relations. Along the same lines, I don't always get paid for what I keep out of the paper, but that can be a huge part of my job. A lot of times leadership have different ideas about what might be of interest to the public than what we can either know in our gut, is it going to fly with a journalist, or that we maybe have researched or scoped out and it's just not a topic that's flying. So I think a huge challenge is how can we work better with leadership to help them understand what the public cares about, to help them understand what viewers and readers of various media outlets, what matters to them, and how can we be part of that conversation rather than trying to take it over.